All right, here we go again. Buckle up. So people are complaining about the quality of security, but it's you have to understand what happened. Okay, when you go to an event that the president and the vice president are frequent and or I guess frequenting, as well as some others, the main focus of security is not you, although they will secure the venue and secure the public there. The main focus of the security is the president and vice president, and that worked well enough. Although, again, as I have highlighted some enhancements, I'm sure there's people in Secret Service brainstorming some enhancements. The easiest way is to station several AI cameras that can identify things. I mean, I don't know how much time you would have had, maybe a second to 3 seconds additional time. That may have been enough. And again, some sort of fence system. I think people are going to expect to see that. The system, well, Satan is going to try to punk you out. The deep state system will try to punk you out so you don't improve security because they'll say, oh, you improved security. That means you were wrong. No, it doesn't mean that. That's why I said just confront it head on, saying these are things we had sufficient security. However, we believe that, in this continual improvement of security, and this is what we're going to do. So again, you set the narrative. Don't let them set the narrative because that's what's going on everywhere. And it's propaganda from some foreign nation like Putin being parroted by a congressman or a senator or a media spy, an agent of a foreign nation. So what happens is it gets worse when security is triggered because now everything focuses on the president and vice president. It's still going to protect you, but you're going to be inconvenienced because now you're an outsider, even though you were an insider, 5 minutes ago or whatever. So again, I think that's where the griping comes from. Well, you didn't take care of us well enough. Well, they don't get paid to take care of you. It's not in their job description. They'll do their best to keep you safe, but once that triggers, all bets are off. Now, Secret Service could say maybe we'll improve on that, maybe we won't, but it's not something traditionally that they worry about. Some people get stuck somewhere for an hour or 2 hours without being allowed to go anywhere in situations similar to that or exactly like that until they release you. So again, it went off well enough, but I think we can try to. Again, I don't know because I wasn't at the venue. I can't tell you whether they can do anything I'm saying. I'm sure the cameras they could do it. And what you would do in a long corridor. I don't know how long that corridor is. Again, I don't see it. But if you have a longer corridor, any size corridor, it's just the intervals between the cameras will be closer on smaller corridors. And if it's too short, then you just, you're not going to use 3 or 4 cameras. You use, just a couple. Well, again, you're going to have to develop the AI so it works well enough. So when it triggers, then everybody, boom. You don't want to do the linebacker thing where you put everybody in line, but again, that's what would have probably happened if it triggered. Well, it would have triggered somehow, either the high rate of speed, probably would have triggered on the weapon first, I think. Now, again, the FBI has to do some soul searching and DHS and everybody in the intelligence side of it to see if he should have never been able to leave California. Now, always understand, you may not see him because somebody's hiding him. You have to look for that. That a foreign spy entity could have been radicalizing the individual, even in, those tunnels, those digital tunnels I speak about. Hacking into something, and conversing with the person outside of what you could see. and then hiding the internet from him or her until after the act. They go, oh, you couldn't even find this person. Look what they were saying. Meanwhile, some CIA or NSA person had their girlfriend think you were cute and wanted to pay you back for it. Make you look stupid. I mean, it's that lowly in government sometimes. Right. So again, I find that the security was sufficient. If you're not the president or vice president, your opinion really doesn't matter once that thing triggers. Right. Well, because like I'm telling you, in some of those situations, people are held in a room, not allowed to go anywhere, not even the bathroom, for an hour or 2 hours till they say, okay, release them. Yeah, even in an average investigation, that can happen. An average shooting. Right. So again, believe it or not, you may have been there invited. Once the shooting happened, then the whole posture changes, and now your security is no longer as vital. I wouldn't say your security, your comfort is no longer as vital. Right? Most Secret Service people will, in interacting with the public around the principal, around the protectee, will be, very much cognizant of that PR thing. But once it triggers and all those pistolas come out and the rifles come out, it's a whole different world. Because there's scenarios, and I'm not going to talk about all the scenarios, and I probably should, but there's scenarios, follow-on scenarios and things like that they trained for. Not because I've seen their training or I spoke to them about it, because I know this field of the world. Not even because the March service trained me. God and I trained together. That's how it works. God and I trained together. Me and the Father are one. In executive protection. Although you've been blocking me lately, that's why I can't see anything. And I don't think a lot of people were seeing much, because Caroline. Now you got to watch Caroline Leavitt, because she's a Q. Right. So at least there is a positive thing in us missing the Q. Now we know it exists. So you got to. It's not really a statement analysis per se, but it's a psychic statement of analysis. Right. So there's people that saw what Caroline Leavitt said that should have been able to read it. So she's cueing. She cues people. I cue people. I do other things to people too. Sounds like Q, but different. No, but I do cue people. That's what makes them paranoid about me sometimes. Because the Justice Department won't just arrest you; they'll cue you first. But if I was awake, I knew that was going on. I didn't have no clue. So I'm cueing people that they got to stop something, and they're mad at me because they think I'm messing with them, and I don't even know what's going on. It'll be a conversation like that. That's pretty open. Most of them aren't that open, but I'll trigger their mind about something they're doing, like deep state. Not even know I'm doing that. Putting them on notice that they're close to maybe being looked at or arrested. Now, again, if you're possessed by someone else into it, you may not be able to get away from it just simply because you're cute. So in God's justice, you're still innocent. Earth justice, give enough evidence that you might be innocent. So, again, the security was sufficient, no matter what you think, all of you, or whoever you are. I guess there's somebody in the Atlantic. That's what you can expect from like an Atlantic news article anyway. So I'm not sure how long that I guess the corridor opened up at that point. I got to look at the video again, but I think it started to open up at that point or something. So as far as coming down that corridor, you would move the checkpoint into the corridor if you had to. A little fence would have worked perfect. And again, it's not something we usually do. And some venues it would be difficult to manage. All right. So yeah, don't listen to them. They're gonna talk doo-doo. President's alive. Vice president's alive. That was the mission. So again, people don't understand that the Secret Service, even though they're nice and help them before something like that, after that happens, it changes. They'll still help you somewhat, but there is another focus, and the focus is also follow-on events that could occur. All right, stay peaceful. Praise God in all that you do. Praise God. That's why they didn't let the president go back out there.